You don't really buy this story about all smartphones being as weak as the iPhone 4, do you? I mean, that's really what Apple was trying to say. Um, so the basic notion is that gripping a phone will as they want to sound smart, attenuate the signal. That's you know um, obvious. Um, we all knew that. But to conflate that with losing the signal completely on the iPhone 4, this is an iPhone 1, is really quite ridiculous. Um, the iPhone 4, which I'm making this video with, is no longer hooked to AT&T because of um, terrible call quality, site disconnects, which were not due to signal, AT&T just cutting my phone off over and over and over in the middle of conversations. And so I went out and I bought a Gen 1 iPhone. And you know what? It's a little slow, but so here I'm looking at what I assume to be. I noticed that Apple didn't mess with the bars on the Gen 1. I'm running 313, so I escaped the shenanigans of Apple with iOS 4 and screwing with the size of the bars, and their supposedly 3-year-old incorrect algorithm for calculating the bars, which was just total bullshit. Um, and then saying that all the other phones are showing too many bars too, and it's like, you know what, man? You can fool some people some of the time, but you're not going to fool everybody all the time. And really, what we've just been hearing is just a litany of bullshit excuses for a company and a network that have hottest the hottest device probably ever made on the planet as a product, and they can't make it work as a good cell phone. So it's just a bunch of whiny shit from AT&T and Apple, sort of mocking themselves, really, mocking themselves with borderline thinly veiled indignance that people are even allowed to have the expectation that this outrageously expensive phone, when you consider the true cost of it, it's okay for it to be mediocre. It's okay for you to drop calls due to an antenna design defect. It's okay to, I mean, yeah, anybody who doesn't even find the whole way that they're framing user complaints as offensive is not listening. When I hold my phone, it's not a death grip, okay? And even if I don't drop calls, let's just say the bar readout was fake. When you have a phone and you're holding your phone in your hand, you're holding your phone in your hand normally like this. Now, if this phone had the line on it that the iPhone 4 does, right there, and you know that touching that place on the phone is going to cause the bar readout to go down to 0. Let's assume for a second that it was just the readout and it really never killed your call. Wouldn't the act of just holding the phone and seeing that and seeing the readout go to 0 just because you held the phone in the most natural way possible, wouldn't that in itself, even if it didn't kill your signal, wouldn't that be a defect? And the answer is yes, because what user would want to see that? That's like every time you get in your car and you put your hands on the steering wheel, and the gas gauge goes down to empty. And then so what the car salesman says, well, it's not really on empty, and we were showing too much gas in your tank because our algorithm for measuring how much gas is in your tank has been wrong. So we're going to make empty a little bigger, and you really shouldn't be worried about this because all cars' gas gauges go to empty when you grip the steering wheel. And that is just fucking ridiculous, people. Anybody who buys this line of bullshit from Apple, you know, whatever, man. If it helps rationalize what you bought, into, and then there's the other people that are sitting around going, "Oh, well, Apple will fix it. I'm sure they'll fix the proximity sensor too," and sitting around holding onto this device, which they know darn well is expensive, and and having it malfunction on them, having their calls intentionally dropped by AT&T sites because AT&T can't handle the 4 on its network, so it checks your IMEI, and if it's got too many iPhone 4s on the site, it drops them. So, whatever, enjoy that. If that's what you bought an iPhone for, enjoy that. But I do have an iPhone 1 here, and I'm going to do my own little demonstration video, and it shows I have 5 bars, whatever, and this is not a 3G phone. The antenna on the original iPhone is behind this black cover. Now, I'm going to do a death grip, and cover up the back, and I'll never lose signal. And in this same house, I will lose a little bit. I'll lose a bar or two. Okay, and it takes quite a while actually. I can put down the video, but to do a two-handed test. But even in a two-handed test, when I cover up this entire phone, it only goes down to a couple of bars. Whereas sitting right here in the same place, using the 4, if I touch that spot, it goes down to 0 instantly. So you know what, Apple, you suck on this, because my iPhone Gen 1 does not have a weak spot. And don't call it a weak spot. Covering up an antenna on a phone is not something that needs that needs some kind of spin to it. Covering up an antenna decreases reception. No fucking shit, man. But this all cell phones have weak spots crap is just an attempt to cover up your lame, defective antenna. So I hope iPhone 5 doesn't suck, because I'm telling you, this 4 is the most hopeful, optimistically brilliant device that you could have ruined, and you more or less did that by this phone not working properly to people's satisfaction. You have basically ruined one of the greatest consumer devices ever made in history.